सबसे बड़ा रीजन इंडिया में डिवोर्स का क्या है?
When a person stops feeling respected in a marriage.
Does money then become a tool in divorce?
Alimony, which was supposed to be a tool for protection, does become a tool for extortion at times.
It's wrong, but they put a domestic violence case on the man.
The law is being misused so much. The authorities look at them with
हुआ है कि
suspiciously.
नहीं हुआ
कह
है?
रहे नहीं हुआ होगा, ये तो ऐसे ही बोल रही होगी.
People say like nowadays in-laws are becoming a big reason for divorce.
The in-laws are unable.
Who initiates the divorce?
It really depends on which partner.
Whenever there is a divorce, the child will be told negatively about the other parent.
That is when the child becomes a victim of a divorce. जैसे finances misuse होते हैं, बच्चे भी misuse होते हैं.
Case of a divorced couple at 72.
They realize that that is not how they wanted to live for whatever years they have left.
The strangest case that you have seen.
Increasingly a term being coined for it called interparental abduction.
Abduction to means बच्चे को उठा के ले गए. What is something you wish people knew before they came to a divorce lawyer?
It's not an instant remedy. I do know a couple who got divorced and got remarried and got divorced.
No way.
Misconception is divorce lawyers are earthquakes, right? And I keep telling them divorce lawyers are not earthquake, we are the rescue team. These circumstances also shape you, right?
It's what you do at your lowest is who you are. Hi Shelly, first of all, thank you so much for being on Alina Dissects.
It's really a pleasure to be here, Alina.
I'm so excited to speak to you. मुझे लगता है कि again बहुत सारे लोगों को सही information जानना जरूरी है from an expert who has done this, not like कि किसी ने कुछ भी बोल दिया और हम उस बात पे मान ले. Because like you said before starting the show also कि you're not just dealing with law, you're not just dealing with paper पे क्या लिखा है, क्या होना चाहिए, क्या नहीं होना चाहिए. You're dealing with people's emotions when you're going through a divorce.
I think Alina, that's so right? Because when it comes to matrimonial law, जब इसके यहाँ सवाल आता है, it's not just about law. You are dealing with real people, raw emotions. You have to deal with it with a lot of sensitivity. Because the minute it comes to matrimonial matters, the line between good or bad is extremely pale, or right or wrong. In fact, I'll go so far as to say that I don't think there is something like good or bad, right or wrong in the traditional sense of the word. It's not black and white. It's a very vast expanse of gray.
Which is why I think when somebody comes to you, you also have to be very empathetic because they are opening up about the most difficult phase of their life. And itna mushkil hota hai to just tell somebody maybe that you are going through this phase or you're going through a divorce, and then that person who's lost trust in the person that they trusted the most is now coming to you and being like, I don't know what to do.
Bang on. I think the minute like a person or a client is entering my office, right, they are very vulnerable. And obviously, right, of course वो लोग vulnerable है वहाँ पे, डरे हुए हैं, confused हैं. As you rightly said, whenever anybody gets married, it's with a lot of hope for the future. You are placing literally your life in hands of someone. When that doesn't work out the way you envisaged it, or the way you are not being treated right, you are scared, you are confused, you are somewhere because of the way our society, or possibly any societies, there is a little bit of highly misplaced guilt that comes into it. You are also scared about opening up and discussing something so private with someone. You are scared you might be judged, possibly also by your lawyer.
Yes.
So the last thing I want them to feel are any of those negative emotions. Come to me, tell me. My personal experience is when you let a person speak and pour their heart out, half the battle is won. They automatically feel a little better. So you are already dealing with someone who is feeling better. Then my job is to give them clarity regarding, of course, the legal process and tell them what is best for them in their case.
Is this more for women? मतलब जब औरतें आती होंगी तो वो ज्यादा डरी होती हैं या तो जब
ऐसा
men
बिल्कुल
आते
भी
हैं तो
नहीं
भी
है।
उन लोग भी सेम इमोशंस?
बिल्कुल. क्या होता है ना कि women have more freedom to express their emotions. We are socially conditioned in a way कि अगर औरत रो दे बड़ी बात नहीं है. In fact, ना रोए तो we are slightly अरे इतनी
too
बात
tough,
कहते रोई क्यों नहीं? Too tough, right? But अगर even in today's day and age, while of course there is social change happening, which I'm very thankful for, but nahi, a man does find it more difficult दे आर स्केर्ड ऑफ बीइंग जज कि अरे मैंने रो दिया तो क्या सोचेंगे लोग, एंड फॉरगेट लोग क्या सोचेंगे, मैं खुद के बारे में क्या सोचूंगा. So I don't think that emotions are different. Uh, फर्क सिर्फ ये है कि women have more ease of expression as compared to men. But no,
Okay.
both are scared, both are confused, both are vulnerable.
Got it.
Because hope for the future is same for whether for a man or for a woman.
राइट ट्रू. कौन सा सबसे सही टाइम होता है टू गो टू अ डिवोर्स लॉयर? ओके, या तो हमें प्रॉब्लम हो रही है तभी डिवोर्स लॉयर देखना चाहिए, या जब डिसाइड हो गया है कि नो इट्स नॉट वर्किंग आउट एट ऑल एंड नाउ आई नीड टू सी अ लॉयर, इज व्हेन यू गो टू वन?
I don't think अलीना कि कोई आई कैन पॉइंट आउट कि सही वक्त क्या होता है. There is couple of lines I myself write, and of course it's to be taken with a pinch of salt and a sense of humor, but I always tell people that it is a marriage, not a race. It is a marriage, not a race. Stay in it for love, not to save face. If fights are rising at a frightening pace, and of love there remains no trace, that is the time you visit a divorce lawyer.
Wow, have you written this
Yes, I
yourself?
have.
Very sensible thing to
I hope
say.
so.
Okay, so when you think that there is no hope and there's no love remaining in this,
The word I would use is not necessarily love. See, love is a very ambiguous term. The word I would say is respect.
okay,
See, love beyond a point, at least we humans tend to perceive it as an emotion. Respect has got more to do with actions. You may love someone or you may think you love someone, but your actions are not reflecting that. Your actions are making the other person feel disrespected. In a marriage or in any relationship whatsoever, disagreement is fine, dispute is fine, disrespect is never fine. And I think that is where personally I would draw a line. So, आपके झगड़े होते हैं, हर रिलेशनशिप में होते हैं, हर शादी में होते हैं, राइट? बट जब वो एक हद पार करने लगे कि आपको लगने लगे कि मेरी यहाँ पे बेइज्जती हो रही है, this बेइज्जती can also be intentional or unintentional, right? So as I always say, nazar nahi nazariya dekho. Also learn to differentiate whether the person meant to disrespect you or you are perceiving it as a disrespect. But yes, if you have conveyed to the other person, nahi, mujhe ye sahi nahi lag raha hai, I don't like being treated this way. You have repeated that, but the person still intentionally chooses not to change or is unable to change. It could be either. Then I think and if you are unable to go, look at choose the intent and ignore the action. If you are able to do that, well and good. But no, if you are unable to do that, I think it's time to move on.
एंड ऑल्सो मेनी टाइम्स ओवर, राइट? कोई बात अगर एक बार हो गई, दो बार हो गई, तो
बिल्कुल.
आप लेट गो करोगे, एंड वुमेन टेंड टू लेट गो सो मेनी टाइम्स ऑल्सो. बट इफ देयर इट्स हैपनिंग ओवर एंड ओवर अगेन, you should take help of whatever kind.
Once is a mistake, maybe twice is also a mistake, but third time is a choice. And that's a decision, right? And that's where you need to kind of reflect your own marriage or any relationship.
पर बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि वुमेन डोंट से एनीथिंग, ओके, एंड दिस हैपेंस आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स इन आवर सोसाइटी के नहीं हमारे बच्चे हैं या फाइनेंसेस आर कंट्रोल्ड बाय अ मैन.
Yes.
तो वो बहुत डरते हैं कि ये फर्स्ट स्टेप हम ले ही कैसे और हमारे लिए बेहतर होगा कि नहीं, क्योंकि सारा चीज तो एक आदमी ही हमारे लिए करता है. तो हाउ यू गो आउट अलोन ऑन योर ओन एंड फिगर दिस आउट?
I think, Alina, thankfully, that is changing now. It might be a gradual change, but it's a definitive change. That women are certainly becoming financially more literate, more able, more independent. But yes, having said that, every woman, and I will even go so far as to say, Alina, कि every man thinks कि भाई especially बच्चे होते हैं कि भाई हमारा झगड़ों का असर बच्चों पे ना पड़े. तो वहाँ पे मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी that every child deserves an environment which is peaceful and happy. By happy, I don't mean celebrations constantly. A peaceful environment, एक सुकून का घर होता है. It is better to give a child two separate happy and peaceful homes rather than giving one joint miserable home. अगर आप साथ में रह के बच्चों के सामने झगड़ने ही वाले हो, घर पे कॉन्स्टेंटली कलेश होने वाला है, you are not doing any favor to the child, because child does not listen to what you say. A child sees what you do, and that is what they learn, that is what they adapt. So to every woman or a man going through this dilemma, I will tell them just this, that if you both are able to behave cordially, or at least with basic civility with each other in front of your children, then fine, remain together. If you are unable to do that, यू आर नॉट डूइंग योर चाइल्ड एनी फेवर. तो ये मत सोचो कि डिवोर्स, बच्चों पे डिवोर्स का आड़ असर नहीं होता है, बच्चों पे आपके झगड़े का आड़ असर होता है.
ओके, ऑन दिस आई हैव वन क्वेश्चन कि अगर आप जैसे घर में बहुत झगड़े हो रहे हैं
जी.
कपल के बीच में, कभी कभी वो लोग बोलते हैं कि डिवोर्स ले लेते हैं, बेटर है. लेकिन मैंने एक स्टडी और रिपोर्ट देखा कि अगर वो एक फेज होता है और उसको हम जाने दे, वो टाइम पे वो जो हो रहा है उसको बर्दाश्त कर लें या सह ले वो टाइम के लिए, बाद में जाके सब चेंज हो जाता है और अच्छा हो जाता है. विच मीन्स दैट पीपल हु आर थिंकिंग अबाउट गेटिंग अ डिवोर्स, दे आर कंफ्यूज के इज इट दैट राइट फेज और राइट टाइम के हमें कर लेना चाहिए, या हमें उसको वेट आउट करके 1-2 साल 3 साल और फिर बाद में चीजें बेटर भी हो सकती हैं.
अलीना, ये क्वेश्चन और ये डिलेमा तो हर एक की जिंदगी में हमेशा रहता है, नॉट जस्ट फॉर डिवोर्स बट कोई भी एक्शन के लिए.
ओके.
हम वेदर इट बी अबाउट स्टार्टिंग अ जॉब और चेंजिंग ओवर टू अ न्यू जॉब, या नया घर अभी ले, या 5 साल के बाद थोड़ी बेटर फाइनेंशियल सिक्योरिटी आ जाए तब ले, तो वो डिसीजन वो दोनों लोग ही ले सकते हैं. बट हमने जैसे पहले बात की, वंस इज अ मिस्टेक, ट्वाइस इज अ मिस्टेक, थर्ड टाइम इज अ डिसीजन एंड अ चॉइस, राइट? तो आप सहो. पर एक चीज याद रखो, जब आप सहन कर रहे हो, अगर आप उस चीज को लेके आगे जाके बिटर हो जाने वाले हो, कह रहे मैंने तो, यू हियर अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल सेइंग दिस, हमने तो कितना सहा है. जस्ट बिकॉज आपने सहा है डज नॉट गिव यू अ राइट टू बिकम बिटर इन लाइफ एंड ट्रीट अदर्स, मिसट्रीट अदर्स, बिकॉज हमने तो सहन कर लिया. इफ योर सहनशीलता कैन गिव यू, सॉरी फॉर माई हिंदी, बट इफ योर टॉलरेंस makes you tolerant later on in life, then it's worth it. If your
Right.
tolerance makes you a bitter person, if it makes you
Resent the person
resentful, I don't think that tolerance was worth it, right?
later.
Because better divorce than bitter married. Conflict has to be resolved, not be carried. अगर आप डिसरिस्पेक्टफुल बन रहे हो, कॉन्स्टेंटली एक दूसरे के साथ डिसरिस्पेक्टफुल हो, आप एक दूसरे को मिसट्रीट कर रहे हो, देयर कम्स अ टाइम ऑल्सो इन अ मैरिज के जो बंदे के साथ जिंदगी निभाने का वादा किया उसे घिन आने लगती है, और उसके साथ रहने की वजह से खुद पे घिन आने लगती है. इफ दैट इज द टॉक्सिसिटी इन योर होम, इन योर मैरिज, I think it's you are better off moving on, and your spouse is better off moving on.
And there are so many older people, like in the older generation, that live with each other, that are so bitter about each other, and they are constantly bickering and fighting. And now we say that अरे आजकल के बच्चे बहुत divorce कर रहे हैं, और but like you didn't divorce, so look at the trauma you're
Look at the
passing
trauma,
on
the
to
generational
people.
trauma. And I'm so glad you brought this up, because this is what I constantly hear कि younger generation में
हाँ.
patience नहीं है. And I've discussed this before also. यार ये मत बोलो पेशेंस नहीं है. As I always say, every person in any generation, in any time century, has a limited quota of patience.
Okay.
पहले के ज़माने में, because maybe your work life was say 9 to 5 or 10 to 6, comparatively lesser working hours, lesser commute for most part.
Yeah,
I'm not
correct,
saying for
correct.
everyone. By the time you came home, you still had some quota of patience left in you, which means कि घर पे जो छोटी बातें होती थी, यस बात छोटी है, बट मेरे पास पेशेंस बची है दैट आई कैन डील विथ इट. अभी इन टुडेज डे एंड एज वेयर बोथ हस्बैंड एंड वाइफ आर वर्किंग 12 hours, have 2 or more hours of grueling commute, by the time I come home, my entire patience is exhausted. तो यस बात छोटी है, बात बड़ी नहीं है, मेरे पास पेशेंस नहीं बढ़ी. The
तो हमें
amount,
पेशेंस बिल्ड करना चाहिए या
I don't think the amount of patience has changed. The quota of patience has not changed. The division of patience has changed compared to earlier generation. I think as we were discussing earlier, पहले जब आप joint family में रहते थे, even if you had 2 or 3 kids, see you had a community
yes
of your own people to raise the kids,
yes
right? तो work divide हो जाता था in a neutral family, and not to say one type of family is better than the other, just a comparison and a comment, not a criticism or a compliment either way. तो nahi, right now in the neutral family, the couple is working, couple come home, you're dealing with a child, it gets overwhelming. Patience हर एक को build anyway करना होता है, and this is whether you are married, whether you are divorced, whether you are single,
Hmm.
आप बच्चे हो, आप बूढ़े हो, doesn't matter, because you have to build patience for your peace of mind.
Hmm. Not
When
for
you are
anybody else.
anxious, the only person you are punishing is yourself, not necessarily only the other party.
Okay. Tell me till now, how many divorce cases have you handled?
A
Like
lot.
a lot.
A lot.
Okay. So then you might know कि सबसे बड़ा reason इंडिया में divorce का क्या है?
Well, apart from the obvious social reasons, कि भाई people's idea of boundary and space has changed over time. Again, which has got to do with changing work dynamics, changing stress levels. तो वो तो है ही कि भाई पहले जो चीज़ें एक रूम में 3 लोगों का रहना हो
Normal
जाता
था.
था,
हाँ.
अब नहीं, बिकॉज़ ज़्यादा करके आप काम पे होते हो तो घर पे आके थोड़ी शांति चाहिए, थोड़ा सुकून चाहिए, जो भी होता है. सो दैट ऑफ कोर्स इज़ देयर. But main reason generally of two people parting ways, uh, and that this might be on a slightly philosophical bent, of course, is ke, see, when a person stops feeling heard in a marriage, when a person stops feeling respected in a marriage, when a person stops feeling loved in a marriage, that is when a person walks out. Contrary to what most people believe के impulsively divorce का decision लेते हैं, that is very few cases. होते होंगे, I'm not saying no, but ऐसा नहीं है कि चलो आज कुछ नहीं है, आज उठ के divorce लेते हैं, ऐसे कोई divorce lawyer के पास नहीं आता है. Yes, there is a conflict in yourself, there is a conflict with your spouse जिसकी असर आपके पूरे existence पे पड़ रही है. तो the main behind every angry spouse or an angry person is usually a hurt person, a pained person, an injured person. So the main reason for anybody mostly to get divorced is the feeling of not being heard, not being respected, not being treated right, and not feeling loved.
Hmm.
There is a difference in saying I love you and making the other person feeling loved. And that if you can manage to bridge that gap, it might be better for everyone.
You're so correct. And but like, do you think like finances or like people say like nowadays in-laws are becoming a huge problem and a big reason for divorce? Is that true?
I wouldn't say in-laws are a big reason for divorce, or daughter-in-law, son-in-law is a big reason for divorce. I think people's inability to change with time and change their expectations from each other with time is the reason that so much discord exists in most of the household. The in-laws are unable to adapt and change their expectations of from their, whether daughter-in-law, son-in-law, vice versa. The daughter-in-law's expectation or son-in-law's expectation from their in-laws or from their parents is very, very different from what our parents' expectation from their parents was.
Okay.
So expectations have changed because there is an, obviously there is a change of living conditions. There's so much of internet. There is so much of more information available. There's so much of exposure. हमारी expectation अलग हो गई है. Expectations entitlement बन जाती है. Because the other side does not reciprocate, तो शायद वो, that is what creates discord in any household. So whether you are living with two people, whether two people are living together or whether 5 people are living together, that doesn't matter. Even if there are 15 people living together, as long as there is alignment in expectations from each other, you will be fine.
But you think that there can be alignment when
Absolutely.
15 people are living
Yes.
together?
Yes.
Or there is suffering. Like, आप बस बर्दाश्त कर लो.
यार मैं तो कभी नहीं बोलूंगी कि बस बर्दाश्त कर लो और
I
करते
know
रहो.
a family, Bombay-based family, who live like all together, and they must be like, it's a really prominent family in Bombay, and they are like, maybe like 30 people together. They have a
Wow.
full building. They have an
They have an entire building.
they have an entire
Right,
building,
right.
but they all live together. They all eat together. The women are working in the house and like everything. But it's not like it's everything according to them and how it should be for the long term. It's like the women are giving up a lot more to make that whole house running. I've seen it like personally.
I believe you, okay? I absolutely believe you. I will also go as far as to say that while it is changing, yes, society does expect little more sacrifice from women, the way the entire system is. Not that men don't sacrifice, it's a different sort of sacrifice.
Hmm.
See, the very fact that till date, typically you expect a woman to leave her parental home and go to a matrimonial home, whether it be with in-laws or without in-laws. The expectation still is कि अरे घर तो लड़की ही छोड़ेगी.
Correct.
Men leaving their house is still more of an exception rather than rule.
Exception. Yeah.
Right? What I'm sure what really helps there is that even though there are 30 people together, they all have their individual spaces. They are not trying to live with one single kitchen.
Hmm.
Right? They are not saying कि नहीं 30 लोगों को जो घर पे बनाए वो एक ही खाना खाना है. 30 लोगों की पसंद अलग अलग हो सकती है. That is not a bad thing. See, we have this idea instilled in us कि कुछ अगर अलग है तो वो बुरा है. We are known to look at anything different than what is our belief with a sense of suspicion and possibly a sense of derision. अरे ये तो अलग है, तो अच्छा नहीं होगा. No, it's okay. One person can like pasta and the other can like pani puri. The idea is not to tell the person who likes pasta कि आप गलत हो or telling the other one. The idea is okay, आपको ये पसंद है, आपको ये पसंद है. If possible, if finances allow, if logistics allow, दोनों का प्रोविजन करो या एक को एक दिन करो, दूसरे का दूसरी दिन करो. The problem comes when you try telling one is wrong, one is right. If there is space, 30 people are staying, say, in different floors, I think you have space to coexist. The idea is coexistence. Idea is not necessarily living in the same 1,000 square feet together.
Tell me, who initiates the divorce more, men or women?
I think it really depends on which partner has more clarity. Also, which partner has courage to admit that this is not working out first.
Okay.
You also mentioned about finances. Alina, finances have been a tool for manipulation, a tool for control, a tool for power since ages, okay?
Yes.
Earlier, they were a tool for manipulation, control, power in a marriage. Now they are being misused as a tool for the same things in case of a divorce, which is so unfortunate. Again, I'm not saying just by a man, also by a woman.
Okay.
But because typically in India, given the patriarchal background, men tend to be more of a breadwinner, not to say women are not.
We also marry like that, right? We marry accordingly.
We do
Like,
marry
we want
accordingly.
a settled man who's doing a little better than us. That's how
Yes,
women get married also.
Even today, I know a lot of women and who are candid about it, who would like to be looked after.
Yes.
As long as they're clear and candid about it, okay, to each their own, right? So yes, you do tend to look as man as traditionally as a provider. So what happens is in a case of a divorce, the woman will exaggerate how much the man is earning,
Okay.
and the man will underplay what he's making
Okay.
and exaggerate what the woman
For
can
court.
earn
For court.
for court. Yes. And then what happens is that it just creates a lot of mistrust.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people who these days come for what is called as premarital planning, not counseling, right?
Okay.
कि भाई अगर हमारा divorce हुआ तो हम finances कैसे arrange करेंगे? This has stemmed, unfortunately, from a lot of cases where they see finances being misused, manipulated.
It's also coming from the West where they have a prenup.
Yes, the idea. But see, traditionally, India, in most personal laws, marriage is sacrosanct. So it's not a contract. It is not typically looked at as a
Correct.
contract in most personal laws, not necessarily all. So the reason why India may still need some more time to give a social and legal nod to prenuptial agreements is that the belief is that if you make this legal, right, and socially acceptable, it's like you are somewhere saying कि
Love
it's
is
easier
not
to
enough.
yes, and it's easier to envision a break. कि हाँ तू
True,
टेकी तो
even
हमने
I would
provision
look
करके
into-
रखा है.
Yeah. So are you in favor of a prenup?
I don't think this is an answer I can give in black and white, because this also depends on your social and economical background. See, Alina, imagine a situation where both parties are well educated, have the same social and economical power, so to say. A prenup is fine, right? But imagine a situation where one party is socially better off and economically better off and possibly is more educated and everything, the other party isn't. And in India, where marriage is still a must, शादी तो करनी ही पड़ेगी, और चलो कोई भी हद से करवा ही लेंगे.
हाँ.
It's so easy to use prenuptial contract as a tool for manipulation and a tool for control. You will, one party who is more powerful will give absolutely unreasonable terms put in a contract, which the other party will accept. कोई
And
बात
but
नहीं,
like
शादी करते
in
हैं.
on the other hand, if you look at it from a point of view where two people love each other, now their economic backgrounds are not similar. Say the man is earning much more and says that, listen, we need to do like a prenup, and the girl will be like, but don't you love me? Don't you trust me? Do you think I'm going to do something like this, that you are saying that I need to secure my money? I feel like it'll be more of like emotion play when it comes to something
It is
like that.
emotional play. And imagine this emotional play going other way also.
Right.
Okay, yes, say, to take your example further, कि yes, the man is economically from in a so-called better situation, but is madly in love, blindly in love, and the woman says, नहीं भाई, अगर divorce होगा, तेरा सब कुछ मेरा, but he is blindly in love. Okay, this could go either way. So, as I said, in matrimonial law, it's not black and white. You also have to understand the cultural background of every strata of the society. There cannot be one right and one wrong answer here.
Does money then become a tool in divorce?
It does. It does. Unfortunately, it absolutely does. Alimony, which was supposed to be a tool for protection, does become a tool for extortion at times. At times. Either way, right? It becomes a tool for manipulation, for control, for power play. The idea of alimony was that finances should not come in the way of a person seeking justice. So the financially weaker spouse should be protected. That was the concept. Protected. But now that is becoming an entirely different ball game. And I repeat, man and women, everybody is misusing finances. It's not just one gender. The common myth is that women misuse the alimony laws. No, equally, men also.
Really?
Absolutely. You
Okay,
underplay your income.
I
right?
want to go one step back and start talking
Alright.
about alimony properly. Now, of course, alimony means, like you said, that the other person should have enough resources. And of course, I feel like when you talk about larger India, हम यहाँ बॉम्बे में बैठ के एक
बिल्कुल.
अलग इंडिया देखते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
India really is something else. And when you talk to people, you realize that there are women that are absolutely powerless. Okay, अब उनके लिए, या because you're talking about the entire India together, they need to protect themselves, and so there is alimony that, listen, they have to take care of themselves. They are not working, they don't have anything to do. Now then there are women who will eventually, that they will be able to earn money and all of that.
They have the capacity to earn.
They have the capacity to earn later on.
Yes.
Now in that, is it fair that working women should be given an alimony or not given an alimony?
So again, the idea of alimony was always to protect the financially weaker spouse, right? That there should not be an eventuality that just because there is a divorce, the person is unable to sustain themselves. Alimony was meant more as a sustenance to allow the financially weaker spouse, to enjoy the lifestyle they did while they were married. When court decides on alimony, and it's a case-to-case basis, of course they take into consideration what is the educational qualification, what is the capacity to earn. I may be highly qualified, very educated, I may have had a job in the past, but if I have a 2-year-old to raise, currently my capacity to earn is compromised.
Yes.
Maybe after 8 years, I will be able to go out and earn. But yes, at that point of time, there'll be a 10-year break.
Exactly.
So again, you need to take all these things into consideration. Also, cities की बात अलग है. In the otherwise society, अभी भी जहाँ traditional mindset है कि भाई main provider husband होता है, and more importantly, household का काम ladies का होता है.
Especially in rural India. That's what happens.
More so, right? And that is called division of labor in a marriage.
Yes.
We are yet to reach a point, but we are going there, but we are yet to reach a point where we will be absolutely okay, where a woman is the sole breadwinner of the family, and more importantly, men is the sole person looking after the household. So, because मेरी बेटी हर कुछ कर लेती है जो मेरा बेटा कर सकता है, but अगर मेरा बेटा बेटी की तरह बिहेव करना लगे तो थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम आ जाता है.
वो problematic
वो problematic हो जाता है, right? And that is the mindset that we need to kind of somewhere change. बेटी बेटा हो सकती है, बेटा भी बेटी हो सकता है.
Hmm.
It's okay.
Hmm.
So yes, for those women where their main job is to look after the household, alimony is absolutely essential. If it's a divorce process and the husband stops paying her money, what is she going to do? वो lawyer का भी पैसा कहाँ से देगी?
क्योंकि नाउअडेज तो इंटरनेट पे ब्लैंकेट स्टेटमेंट है कि अगर वर्किंग वुमन है तो उसको एलिमनी मिलना ही नहीं चाहिए. बट आई एम लाइक, आप केस तो देखिए, मे बी राइट नाउ शी कांट अर्न.
In
Maybe she can't earn
in
right now.
marital law, and I would rather say this in any, all generalizations are wrong, including this one,
हाँ,
right?
correct.
So that is a core statement of
Hmm.
life. But yes, especially in matrimonial law, there cannot be a blanket statement. It is case to case because every individual's case is different. I may not be educated, but I am doing something which makes me a lot of money.
Hmm.
So the idea is to see how much the man is making, how much the wife is making, what is the disparity between the two incomes, whether their individual incomes are enough to sustain their lifestyle that they have been used to during marriage. No, so you cannot have a blanket statement that a working woman should not have alimony. A woman working with an NGO is also a working woman, but what she will be making is a very, very nominal salary compared to a husband who's working in corporate and making 50 times what she's making. Then a statement that working women or working human is not entitled to alimony doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
ऑल्सो एलिमनी हैज अ टाइमलाइन ना, कि इतने टाइम तक जब तक आप खुद
Yes.
से नहीं कर सकते या जब तक आपकी दूसरी
If
शादी
your
नहीं हो जाए.
बिल्कुल, if your circumstances change, you always have the power to revise the alimony.
ओके, मैंने बहुत साइड ले ली औरतों की. नाउ आई हैव टू से द अदर साइड ऑफ इट. बहुत सारी औरतें एलिमनी का मिसयूज करते हैं. द पावर दैट एलिमनी हैज कि आप ये डिमांड कर सकते हैं, उसको वो लोग, मैंने पर्सनली देखा है कि बहुत मिसयूज करते हैं. आपने तो ऐसे बहुत केसेस देखे होंगे.
बहुत. What was meant as a tool for protection is unfortunately being misused as a tool for extortion.
कैसे होता है एक्सटॉर्शन ऑफ एलिमनी?
चलो एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं. हस्बैंड आके बोलता है कि भाई ये नहीं जम रहा है बिकॉज ऑलरेडी बहुत से झगड़े हो रहे हैं और नहीं जम रहा है. हस्बैंड आके बोलता है कि मुझे तलाक चाहिए, मुझे डिवोर्स चाहिए, राइट? वाइफ सेज अच्छा डिवोर्स चाहिए, तो फिर एक काम करो, मैं तो नहीं देने वाली हूँ, बट अगर मुझे डिवोर्स देना है तो मुझे आप ये भी दो, घर भी दो. आई एम नॉट सेइंग व्हाट इज अ राइट एंड व्हाट इज रॉन्ग, आई एम जस्ट गिविंग एन एग्जांपल. घर भी चाहिए, वेकेशन होम भी चाहिए, पैसा भी चाहिए, ये भी चाहिए, बेसिकली सब कुछ चाहिए, राइट?
ऑन
The
व्हाट
hu-
बेसिस?
द हस्बैंड सेज ये अगर नहीं दोगे
तो मैं
तो मैं
डिवोर्स
डिवोर्स
नहीं
नहीं दूंगी, आप कोर्ट से जाके लेके आओ.
ओके.
सबको पता है अगर कोर्ट में जाके जाना पड़ा, इट बिकम्स अ लॉन्ग ड्रॉन प्रोसेस, इट्स अ प्रोट्रैक्टेड लिटिगेशन. Nobody ideally wants to choose protracted litigation in life. You are somewhere using the fear कि मैं तुम्हारा बहुत कुछ ले लूंगी against that person. It's a pressure tactic. It's a power play, right? Because मुझे कोर्ट तो ये देगा, मुझे कोर्ट तो वो देगा. They are not even going on legal basis because they forget to understand that court is going to see your individual circumstances.
Court is not going to give everything a man
Absolutely.
has to a woman.
On everything that a woman asks for. That's not how it works, right? The idea of law and court is to be just and fair. So, but in that moment, you have instilled a fear in that your spouse's heart that this is going to become a financial extortion. And that is being misused as a pressure tactic.
मुझे तो बेसिकली यही समझ में नहीं आता कि अगर आप किसी इंसान के साथ रहने वाले हो और आपके उनके साथ रिलेशन ऐसे हैं और दिस इज द बॉन्ड यू विल हैव, तो फिर वो साथ रहने का मतलब क्या है?
वही तो मैं कह रही हूँ ना कि
अगर आपके सामने वाला को आप डरा रहे हो कि मैं, अगर यू डोंट लीव मी आई विल आस्क यू फॉर ऑल ऑफ दिस, आई एम गोइंग टू टेक एवरीथिंग ऑफ योर्स. What kind of a life you are living together?
It's a very, very toxic life, and that's what I'm saying. But most people continue to live this toxic life because अगर तलाक होगा तो लोग क्या कहेंगे?
या पैसे मिलने चाहिए.
Yeah, that might be other but as you asked me earlier, when do you know it is time for divorce? When everything becomes
like
calculated.
Transactional.
It's transactional. Everything is based on calculations. I don't think that's a healthy relationship. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying it's not a healthy relationship.
ओके मैंने डिवोर्स के केसेस में ये भी बहुत सुना है कि द फर्स्ट थिंग एंड ये लॉ कुछ कुछ लॉयर्स भी बताते हैं कि आप सीधा केस कर दीजिए आदमी पे एंड द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट दे डू इज लिसन इट्स लाइक एंड इट्स रॉन्ग बट दे पुट अ डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस केस ऑन द मैन एंड इंडिया में यू कैन पुट इट एंड एफआईआर इज पुट एंड जब तक प्रूव नहीं होगा तब तक ही इज stuck the person is stuck even if it doesn't
There's a
happen
case against
there's
you.
a case
There's a case
against you
against you.
and then
Yes.
you have to fight it मतलब केस तो हो गया आप पे खाली अगर
You
लड़की ने
created
बोला
a nuisance. You
हाँ
created a nuisance
एंड
value
आई
for
एम
your
टॉकिंग
spouse.
अबाउट जब ये ट्रू नहीं होता है
जी जी जी,
मतलब आई एम
बिल्कुल
नॉट टॉकिंग
बिल्कुल.
अबाउट
When there is
रियल
no,
केसेस
yes.
वेर इट हैपेंस गॉड फॉरबिड बट जहाँ पे नहीं होता है वहां पे भी लोग झूठी डाल देते हैं ये केस सो एंड दैट्स द फर्स्ट थिंग दे डू इन अ डिवोर्स थिंग सो लाइक आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड
Unfortunately.
व्हाट इज द रीजन
You are absolutely right. ये कितनी बार होता है कि the the law the law which was so good in its essence कि भाई हम प्रोटेक्ट करेंगे, आप मिसयूज कर दिया.
और आप
केस
ऐसा
पावर प्रेशर टैक्टिक के
एंड
लिए
ऐसा
केस
केस
डाल
कि आप
दिया.
डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस कर रहे हो wrongly against a man and then there's no way out of that also unless you fight for
I mean,
years
you have to absolutely. Of course, court is going to, in the end, decide looking at the evidence and everything. But yes, basically, and it is so sad and it is so wrong, right? Because आप सिर्फ अपना सोच रहे हो. In fact, it has come to a point where the law is being misused so much that those who really require the protection of this law, who are really being misused, you look at them also, or even the authorities look at them with
हुआ है कि नहीं
सस्पिशियसली
हुआ
कह
है
रहे नहीं हुआ होगा, ये तो ऐसे ही बोल रही होगी. तो आप खुद का तो नुकसान इन द लॉन्गर रन कर ही रहे हो बिकॉज यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू प्रूव द केस अगेंस्ट द पर्सन. आप उन लोगों का भी नुकसान कर रहे हो जो रियली अब्यूज के साथ जी रहे हैं, जिनको ये लॉ का प्रोटेक्शन मिल रहा है, उनको नहीं मिल रहा है आपकी एक गलत कंप्लेन की वजह से. बिकॉज आपको लगा कि जो कायदा आपके अच्छे के लिए बना था, हम उसका मिसयूज करेंगे.
right that is so sad like
It
so
is very sad.
sad
It is
and
very
you
sad.
look at this every day मतलब आपका दिन भर का काम ये है कि आपको ऐसे केसेस देखने पड़ रहे हैं तो स्पेसिफिकली आप बताइए कि कौन सा आपने वर्स्ट केस देखा होगा डिवोर्स का
I think every case, Alina, where I see a child suffering, where parents using the child as a pawn in their play for divorce, is equally sad for me.
what is taking a child as a pawn in divorce
When you go your separate ways, natural है कि बच्चा एक parent के पास typically ज़्यादा
ज़्यादा
रहेगा, right? Because that will be the primary custody. And then the other parent gets visitation rights or access, जो भी आपका है. Using तो जैसे finances misuse होते हैं, बच्चे भी misuse होते हैं. कि
I
अब
see.
बच्चे से अलग कर दूंगी, बच्चे को या बच्चे को मिलने
हाँ.
नहीं देंगे. आई एम नॉट टेकिंग वन जेंडर as I don't want to get into that. I'm just saying that बच्चे को देखने नहीं देंगे, एक्सेस नहीं देंगे, ये नहीं करेंगे. Don't do that. Don't do that.
hmm.
A child is not anyone's property. A child is a person. Please respect. Do what is good for your child, not what is bad for your spouse. Right? A bad spouse can be a wonderful parent. They're not mutually exclusive of each other. That is what I think people forget. They project their trauma of that person having been a bad spouse on them being a parent.
But isn't it true that if it is a bad person, they are going to be a bad person with their child?
But define a bad person. Just because someone does not behave the way you
want.
expected them or want them to behave, or what you have an idea in your head, does not make them a bad person. I'm not saying go ahead with the relationship. You might choose to walk out gracefully, but that doesn't make them a bad person. That makes them a different person. Coming back to what I said earlier, we are socially conditioned to look at anyone who is different as bad.
Okay. Now there are some cases where, say, the man or let's say woman are into like bad habits. Okay, now bad habits, so I can define. Say they
Yes.
are into heavy drinking, heavy smoking. Say they're not in their senses. Now, in this case, taking the kids away could be more sensible than being like, "Oh, good father, and I need to give
Absolutely.
access to the father
No,
or
no, no.
mother."
Absolutely, you're right. There are cases where, yes, the for the welfare. So, what one has to keep in mind, and court always keeps in mind, is the welfare of the child. What is good for the child? If there is a bad influence on the child by living with one
One of
parent or
them.
meeting one parent, court will take decision accordingly. But you don't, unless there is an extreme situation like that, you don't become the judge of that, because then you are not acting in the child's interest, you are acting in your own interest. And I understand that when you are going through a battle, it's very difficult to differentiate between the two, right? But try to do that, because in the end अब divorce किस चीज के लिए ले रहे हो, so that you can get out of the toxicity, and you are not doing child any favor by completely cutting off contact with the other parent. Yes, there can be degrees of contact depending on individual circumstances.
Hmm.
What I'm coming back to is that please keep in mind your child's welfare. As we say, the child's sense of agency also. And don't please use, or rather misuse, your child as a pawn. Your child is not finance जिसको आप misuse करो. जैसे
Hmm.
finances को misuse मत करो as a tool to control, as a tool to manipulate. बच्चे को भी मत करो.
Hmm.
If you are divorced, try not talking ill about the other parent.
Hmm.
Let the child develop their independent relationship with the non-custodian parent.
Okay.
I'm not talking about extreme cases, okay, where what you said, मैं उनकी बात नहीं कर रही हूँ. Generally, जहाँ divorce हो रहा है, you develop your own individual relationship with the child. You don't have to go around brainwashing, or even for that matter, influencing your child's opinion about the other partner.
That happens a lot. Like
Happens a
whenever there
lot.
is a divorce, the child will be told negatively about the other parent.
That is when the child becomes a victim of a divorce. If the divorce is through a mutual consent, mostly, if the divorce is dignified, if the divorce is amicable, forget amicable. When the divorce is civil, children don't become victims. Children become victims of parents who are constantly at loggerheads, regardless of whether married or divorced.
रियलिस्टिकली बात करते हैं, जब हम कोर्ट जाते हैं, हमें ऑफ कोर्स इसलिए जाते हैं कि जस्टिस मिले, टाइमली जस्टिस मिले, लेकिन हमारे कोर्ट्स ऐसे हैं कि सालों लगा देते हैं केस में.
The volume of cases is so
Yes.
high that yes, delay is the one of the major problems.
अब ऐसे केस में should you be patient, fight this whole thing, let it go? What do? You don't understand.
Okay, that's a very interesting question. The idea of a divorce should be to end one's suffering, not to inflict suffering on your spouse. It is the
Okay.
tool for your healing, not a tool for retribution against your spouse.
What if it's then not fair? What if अगर कोई गया है और बोलता है चलो मुझे सुकून चाहिए, मुझे ये डिवोर्स के झंझट में नहीं पड़ना है, ठीक है, मैं लेट गो कर देती हूँ. But then what if it's not fair to the person कि अरे मैं ये क्यों कर रही हूँ for somebody who's not being nice to me, and basically if it's just not fair.
But again, see, the idea of fairness comes because you feel ke that person is getting away, so-called getting away, with an easier way. So again, the idea that he or she should go to a difficult period or difficult time is you wanting to, and every natural human instinct to instill punishment. You are not thinking ke मैं निकल जाती हूँ, मुझे सुकून मिलेगा. Isn't your सुकून more important?
अगर आप बोल रहे हैं कि सुकून की लाइफ चूज करनी चाहिए, यू वांट योर सफरिंग टू रिड्यूस और एंड, ओके, लेकिन कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि अगर किसी को अपना सब कुछ देना पड़े सुकून के लिए, तो फिर वो एक फेयर बात भी नहीं होती है. कोई एक्सटॉर्ट कर रहा है अगर आपसे, तो ऐसा थोड़ी होता है कि नहीं चलो अब ये केस खत्म करने के लिए मैं तुम्हें मेरा सब कुछ दे दूंगा.
बिल्कुल भी नहीं, वो तो बिल्कुल गलत बात हो गई. So when I say conciliatory approach, I don't mean reconciliation, not at all.
Huh.
You know what? In fact, actually, I had given an answer to this in one of my interviews. If you allow me, I will
Yeah, you
actually
should
read
tell
out
me.
the same thing to
Tell
you,
me.
to read
Huh.
out my earlier answer to this. By conciliation, I do not mean blindly giving into unreasonable demands of the other or tolerating any form of abuse from the other person.
Okay.
By conciliation, I mean developing emotional intelligence to understand that the aim of divorce should be to end one's suffering and not to inflict suffering on the other person. So, conciliation is about being able to choose civility over cacophony, recovery over revenge, and maturity over malevolence. I'm not even remotely saying कि हाँ हाँ उसको जो चाहिए दे दो. नहीं. Idea is to understand कि at what point am I beginning to compromise my mental peace? Understanding price versus value, cost versus value. Is the cost emotional, financial, physical, spiritual cost that I'm paying for this worth what I'm going to get in return?
ओके फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैंने सोचा नहीं चलो मैं मेरी जो भी कमाया हुआ इतना पैसा है शी इज आस्किंग फॉर इट और ही इज आस्किंग फॉर इट और मैंने कोर्ट में नहीं जाने से बेटर है कि मैंने सेटल कर दिया ठीक है आपका एक ऑप्शन वो है कि यू गिव इट एंड
Mutually
देन यू
settled.
रिग्रेट एंड देन और
Or you may not regret.
ओके
How
गिविंग
about
मोर
this?
देन
How about this? Let us
और
change the perspective a little.
Hmm.
Rather than saying, "Ki, I gave her this, can we look at it? This is what I invested in buying my freedom and buying my mental peace."
because otherwise I would have to be in
Other-
court doing this for years and
For
years.
say 5 to 7 years, I would be in court. I would be washing dirty linen in public. I would be coming home enraged, bitter, angry, resentful, which I will be taking out in other aspects of my life. So while trying to save X thing, whether it be money, whether it be a principle, whether it be whatever, right? I am compromising on so many other areas of my life. And the mental bandwidth that I can use for something productive, I am using it for something, for a lack of better word, for something destructive.
Hmm.
Again, there is no right and wrong. And I keep reminding my clients of this, right? That there is no right and wrong. It is about choosing what is important to you. What pain are you willing to live with? Are you willing to live with the pain of a protracted litigation for whatever years it takes? Making allegations count. When you make an allegation, there is going to be a counter allegation, right? And in the process, Alina, you are somewhere also disregarding and disrespecting the good moments, good time, howsoever few good moments that you spent together as a couple,
Hmm.
right? There are times when litigation is absolutely imperative, when there is abuse, when fundamental rights are at stake. And that time, I will say, fight tooth and nail
Okay.
for your betterment, not for what I must punish the other. So, as when you are asking me, बहुत कुछ दे दिया, बहुत कुछ दे नहीं दिया, बहुत कुछ invest कर दिया to buy my peace of mind. If that will buy you peace of mind.
Hmm.
In most of the cases that I see, I have never seen anybody very happy after a protracted litigation. Hey, 5 saal case chalaya. nahi. That's not happiness. And if that is happiness to you, if toxicity, if conflict is happiness to you, then your problem
something
might be
wrong with
deeper.
you. Yeah.
We might be dealing with something far greater than a divorce.
Typically, how long does a divorce case go in court for?
If it's a mutual consent where basically means that both the parties are amicably parting ways, they are themselves deciding the terms and conditions, it may take maximum of 6 months from the date of filing of the divorce, unless one party wants to take further date or something. It may even take lesser with recent judgments. If there is a contested matter, so if spouses are unable to decide terms and conditions regarding finances, custody, joint property, and if they are approaching court, that court should decide it for them based on evidences, it can take a very long time, even up to 5 to 7 years in family court.
That's a really long time, especially if you are young and you have so much of
There's so much to look
so
forward
much to
right?
do, then you don't want to get stuck into that.
Exactly. And in fact, it's very interesting. Younger couples
Hmm.
typically will not really go for a contested matter. Possibly also because the history that they have shared as a couple is lesser. So the
Lesser.
bitterment and resentment is
Is
lesser.
lesser. Okay.
Lesser. Yes.
Is there an age group that typically gets divorced more than the others?
Not anymore. Used to be, yes, maybe 10 to 15 years ago, yes.
What was it 10 to 15 years ago?
We saw younger couples getting more divorced, 10 to 15 years. But now I have clients ranging from 25 years old to 72 years old.
72. Tell me about the case of a divorced couple at 72.
They had reached a point where there was no conversation between them, and any conversation was typically a conflict. They realized that that is not how they wanted to live for whatever years they have left. they had realized this maybe 10 or 15 years ago that they did want to part ways. That time they did not go ahead with it because the children were comparatively younger. So what they did was they waited couple of years to, children are settled, their education is over, they are settled in their job or whatever life, and then they are with me. They are very cordial with each other, very respectful, but they understand that their relationship is dead, not due to fault of one person, or at least they are not pointing fingers. They are solution oriented, they are not problem oriented. They don't go around telling me ye isne ye kiya usne wo kiya isne, and that's fine if they want to tell me, right? I am going to listen to you, but what they ask me is ab kya kare, and that is the attitude I genuinely appreciate. It's solution oriented.
Do you think it makes sense to get divorced at 72 years old?
Oh, that is absolutely from an individual to individual. I don't think there's a right or a wrong age to divorce, because how can there be a right or a wrong age to end toxicity in one's life? If your marriage has become toxic, any age is the right age. If your marriage has a chance to survive, any age is the right age to give it one more chance.
Okay. Now tell me कि you spoke about like बहुत सारे लोग spontaneously या एक fit of age,
Impulsively.
impulsively भी बहुत सारे लोग divorce ले लेते हैं. ऐसा कोई case देखा है आपने where you were like अरे थोड़ा और try कर लो, you all are being too
Oh,
early?
yeah, absolutely. And I think when I feel that way, I am candid enough to tell them ki,
Okay.
not to belittle their problems or make them feel that their problems are not important enough. The idea is not whether your problem is big or small. The idea is where there is a scope of survival for the marriage. Where I feel that no, maybe marriage counseling or wise counseling of elders or friends or neutral mediation can actually give them a fresh perspective on their marriage. I always ask them to go ahead with that.
Somebody who's come to you कि मुझे divorce
जी
चाहिए
जी
और आप मेरी help कर दीजिए, तो you can go up to them and उनकी situation समझ के आप ये बोल सकते हैं कि ये आपके लिए सही नहीं है अभी?
मैं ये नहीं बोलती ये आपके लिए अभी सही नहीं है, मैं ये बोलती हूँ कि मुझे ऐसा लगता है, ऑफ कोर्स चॉइस इन द एंड आपका है, मैं तो यहाँ बैठी हूँ आपको डिवोर्स दिलाने के लिए, बट मेरे हिसाब से आई थिंक आपकी मैरिज में थोड़ा अभी भी सर्वाइवल का स्कोप है. द प्रॉब्लम इज मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग rather than complete breakdown.
Hmm.
You can also figure it out from the way they speak about the marriage, the way they speak about their spouse. And when they tell you incidents, and somewhere, somewhere as a neutral person, I can even shed light. Okay, yes, you perceive the situation this way, but maybe, just maybe, the other person did not mean their actions in the way you perceived it.
Hmm.
There are multiple ways to reach the number 10. 5 plus 5, 6 plus 4, 15 minus 5. Just because you choose 5 plus 5 and the other person chose 15 minus 10, they did not necessarily do that just to hurt you. You perceived it as a hurt.
Hmm.
So when I feel that, yes, there is a scope, I always make it a point to tell them, go for counseling. Yeah, I'm not necessarily go only to a marriage counselor. Go to a neutral mediator who is sensible enough, who can be impartial. Go to them, talk it out. What I always tell them is communication is so important.
Hmm.
And in today's busy life, added with this whole browsing constantly, I think the one sphere of life where we compromise the most is communication. We don't communicate, we don't talk, we don't converse. It's a very and I think that does more damage than any other thing.
Hmm.
So I do tell them, in fact, I do have cases where they did try to give it another shot and they haven't come back to me yet or gone to anybody else yet.
Okay.
And
definitely.
I think, yeah, they seem to be really making a lot of effort to work it out.
Hmm. Tell me about the strangest case that you have seen as a divorce lawyer.
I don't know about strangest, but there are certain cases which make you feel very, very sad. So, as I was saying, how kids sometimes are misused. So, what happens is, and there is increasingly a term being coined for it called interparental abduction. So, when there is an order in place or court order that one person is the primary custodian while the other parent has the visitation right to meet the child, and the person who does not have the primary custody will just whisk away the child somewhere else.
Abduction तो means बच्चे को उठा के ले गए,
हाँ, बच्चे को उठा के ले गए जब आपका विजिटेशन आवर नहीं था, या एंड इट कैन बी
परमिशन नहीं
आइदर
था.
परमिशन नहीं थी, इट कैन बी आइदर पेरेंट, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट एनी जेंडर, वाइफ और हस्बैंड ओवर हियर, राइट? I don't think people realize the kind of trauma you are causing to the child, you are causing to each other, and the kind of damage it does. So rather than strangers, I would think it's very
तो
very
वो
sad.
क्या करते हैं ऐसी
वो बच्चे को
सिचुएशन?
बेसिकली बच्चे को उठा के एक पेरेंट ले जाएगा, से फॉर एग्जांपल सिटी से बाहर ले जाएगा, या देयर हैव बीन केसेस कंट्री से बाहर ले जाएगा,
कंट्री से बाहर ले गए
कंट्री से
बच्चे को.
बाहर ले गए, एंड देन the other parent doesn't even know where the child is. It's extremely traumatic for other parent when something like this happens.
Hmm.
In a divorce, because there is so much of conflict, there is so much of cacophony, there is so much of negativity, sometimes people are drawn to extremities. My advice is, as far as possible, don't put yourself or your spouse in a position where either of you will be driven to extremities or a kind of behavior which you would not have otherwise indulged into at all.
What is another extreme that people reach to, which is not them generally in life?
Oh, I've seen them become extremely vindictive.
Okay.
It could range from बच्चे की स्कूल की फीस नहीं भरेंगे वे because the other spouse will feel so bad कि अरे वो pressure में आ जाएंगे. It can range from that to believe it or not, the strangest case I knew of a couple, and not a young couple, right? Married for enough years, having children. Both were working. So what they used to do is एक दूसरे को परेशान करने के लिए अगर दूसरे की कॉन्फ्रेंस होती थी वीडियो कॉल, बिल्डिंग का इलेक्ट्रिक सप्लाई बंद कर देती थी, या घर का या बिल्डिंग का इलेक्ट्रिक सप्लाई बंद कर देती थी. दिस इज पीपल इन देयर 50s बिहेविंग लाइक दिस. You are drawn to such an immature, irrational behavior because your mind is clustered with so much of resentment, so much of anger. And imagine grown people behaving like this. And I know that they are very nice people otherwise.
Oh, really? Under like these circumstances, they are behaving.
See,
in this
circumstances also shape you, right?
It's
Which-
what you do at your lowest is who you are.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
It's what you do at your lowest, who you are.
I personally, again, my view could be smaller, but I've seen that a lot of issues nowadays are happening because of people around the couple. Now, whether that is friends, whether that is comparison online, whether
Yeah.
that is in-laws getting involved,
Yes.
or you're looking at other marriage maybe in your circle or outside, so much of that just causes your own partnership to break.
Yes.
Like, and I've personally seen that to be a lot of the case. Does that happen? Like,
Absolutely. The environmental factors, right? And comparison is the thief of all joy. When you compare or when others compel you to compare, अरे हमारा ऐसे नहीं है, अरे पर आप अपना रखो ना, उनको अपना रखने दो. So of course it affects because your expectations become shaped by your environment. If you are constantly seeing, say for example, a couple who is constantly traveling online, right? And
That's a big one.
That's a big one, and that's what you start expecting in your marriage. Your circumstances in life currently are not
different.
conducive for that. And again, I'm sure you have heard this enough. Everybody has heard this enough. Social media पे आप किसी की 2 minute देख रहे हो, that also highly curated. Real life
say it all
can
the
never
time.
be a real life.
You can't compare your life to
You can't
somebody's
compare.
Instagram life because
Absolutely.
Instagram पे वो अपनी best life डाल रहे हैं और नहीं होगी तो भी बना के
तो भी बना
करेंगे.
because that is a highly curated 2 minutes of their entire life. 2 minute के लिए तो कोई भी स्माइल कर सकता है ना कैमरा पे यार, उसमें क्या बड़ी बात है.
True.
So don't compare. Don't even compare your marriage to your parents' marriage. मेरी माँ ने ये सहन किया या मेरे फादर चुप रहते थे. मेरी माँ अगर कुछ बोलती थी. Every person is different. Why are you expecting your spouse to behave, react, or act in a way either your parent or your friend did?
I've also again now seen a lot of and from where I come, a lot of well-to-do families, and the way that they behave with their daughters versus how they behave with their daughter-in-laws is so different and is so shocking to me at this point in life that I'm like, am I ye sachi mein ho raha hai ya main, like am I seeing the truth or is there something else that is happening? Because पढ़े लिखे लोग, educated, society में well known, they will let their daughter do everything. And the daughter-in-law is supposed to behave like this. And that supposed to means कि daughter-in-law वो decide करेंगे कि काम करेगी या नहीं करेगी, घर पे कितना करना है, नहीं करना है, रात को इतने बजे आना है, हस्बैंड के साथ ही जाने का है. And then they say that they are forward open minded people, and it's very surprising to me. And a lot of divorce cases happen because of that, because हमें तो लगा था अरे इतनी अच्छी family है, इतनी modern family है, suddenly you go to that family and you are like अरे ये क्या हो रहा है.
So, Alina, as I say, till you have lived with someone, na, you never know who they are. That is core statement in life. Yes, I think in India, what is happening is I hear a lot of people saying that we let our daughter-in-laws work. And I always ask them, my issue is the word let. Because that means you are saying I have the power
Power.
over that person. The person doesn't have a sense of agency. मैं करने दे रही हूँ. अब आप होते कौन हो करने देने वाले? The minute you say that about your child, about your daughter-in-law, son-in-law, the minute you use the word let, you have put yourself in a position of power. Right? And that is the problem. हम करने दे रहे हैं. I remember this one person had come to me along with parents, and nice people, and the mother was just telling me, and I understand she had grievances against the daughter-in-law, and she was telling me, I have really treated my daughter-in-law the same as I treated my daughter. मैं ये कहती थी उसके लिए, वो कहती थी, हाँ वो बाहर जाती थी, ये करनी थी, मैं उसका डब्बा भी भर के देती थी. So I asked her very gently, आप अपने बेटी का भी डब्बा भरते हो? बेटी उसकी, she was unmarried daughter, आप बेटी का भी डब्बा भरते हो? She's like, हाँ of course. तो I was like, वो तो आपने बताया नहीं मुझे. डॉटर इन लॉ का डब्बा भरा वो बताया, बेटी और बेटे का भी डब्बा भरते हो, क्योंकि वो बताने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ी, वो नेचुरली आता है. आई
This is
रियली
extra effort I have done.
I really laud her वो कि वो डब्बा भरती थी. I appreciated
Good.
the fact, because you have to appreciate when a social change happens, right? Because then the person is encouraged to behave in a better way. But having said that, and I really applaud the woman for this. She was taken aback for a minute, and she could have been really angry at what I said, but she wasn't. She thought about it for like a couple of minutes. She's like, I get it. मुझे वो जताने की जरूरत लगी. And these were her words. मुझे वो जताने की जरूरत लगी. जब बेटे का डब्बा भरते हो, बेटी का डब्बा भरते हो, वो जताने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती, because वो तो naturally आता है. So we think we are treating them the same, whether it be daughter versus daughter-in-law or son versus son-in-law. You think you are treating them the same, but really, really introspect. Are you treating them the same? Are your expectations the same that you have from your children?
You know, once I went to a house to meet an uncle, and there were two women over there, okay, around the same age.
Okay.
One of them was in her pajamas lying down and chilling. Same age girl, another girl in the house, was the one who was coming and serving, giving water, asking if everything is fine. And I was like, you know who's the daughter and who's the daughter in law in this house? In 1 second, I knew who's the daughter and who's the daughter in law. So I like, you just see so many of these like visuals, and you come to know how we think such modern people, इनके पास इतना पैसा है, इनके पास इतना power
My
है.
problem with that scenario is वो बेटा क्यों पानी लेके नहीं आ रहा
No,
था?
beta has no calm in all of these. The guests
But this
have
is just, of
calm.
course, I know there is social change happening. I mean,
Yeah.
so many of my friends, they don't behave traditionally. In fact, I know my friends where the men are really the homemaker. They are the nurturers. They take care of everything of the house, what traditionally a woman used to do. And the women are, going out and so-called earning the bread, and the men are baking the bread to give you this. And they're very proud about it. They're like, no, but my wife, and I remember I had this discussion with him. They're like, my wife is better at it. I'm better at this.
Wow.
In marriage, division of labor is not a bad idea. The problem is we assign gender rules to division of labor.
Okay.
There is no harm if one person wants to stay at home. I'm not giving a gender. Right? The problem is the society gives gender, that women must stay at home. No, it's fine if one person stays at home, looks after the home, and the other person is earning. Problem comes when we say men has to earn and women has to look after the home. वो men और women निकाल दो ना. फिर you will be, for most part, you might just be fine.
Okay, but tell me, in like to counter it for a second, isn't there gender roles that are defined for us? For example, when women go through childbirth, the women only have to go through it now. I understand that men take a part in it, and some men are
Yeah,
very
yeah,
proactive
absolutely.
and they help out. But can they do the same thing as women do? Same, I will say it to the other gender. The kind of physical power that they have to do the work that they do,
Right.
can a woman put herself in that place and be like, this is exactly what I'm going to do throughout my life in the same way?
I think we get very confused between the word equality and being identical.
So I
Men and women are
100%
not identical.
100% agree that men and women are equal, but I believe that they are not the same.
But why should they be? The idea and the essence of equality is to give the same resources, same respect, same opportunities to two people who might be different.
Hmm.
We are not saying, I've never believed even for a minute that men and women are identical or same. No. But just because they are not the same, it does not mean one is higher, one is lower. I'm asking for society to treat them as equal, not as identical.
Got
In
it.
fact, that's a ridiculous expectation to have that they're identical.
Okay. So you were telling me that now I just want to talk about you personally. I always do that with all of my guests. One part is their job, but it's also how difficult it must be to be in your position to deal with so many emotions and so much of law and court kacheri, jo bolte hai,
Yeah.
that you are doing. But you are married and you have been in a relationship for a really, really long
Yes.
time. Tell us how that doesn't get impacted with what you're seeing at work.
In fact, the very fact that I've been in a relationship for a very long time and married him later on,
Hmm.
him being such a supportive, positive person is the reason I can do this without it impacting me. So the other way
Okay.
around. Because no matter how much negativity or conflict I see at work, having him at home and seeing that the other side also can exist is what helps me sleep at night better, right? Because I know that हाँ झगड़ा भी हो सकता है but प्यार भी तो हो सकता है.
Hmm.
So it's coming, and not just him. I think with God's grace, I'm blessed with a wonderful and very, very supportive family and a core group of friends. And कोई भी अगर बहुत ही नेगेटिव डे हुआ कोर्ट में ना जहाँ बहुत झगड़ा देखा और समथिंग, आई थिंक ऑल आई नीड टू डू इज just go and meet my friends and just be with my husband or family, and you just instantly feel recharged, rejuvenated, and reassured.
But tell me, in such a long career span as a divorce lawyer, has there been any time where you have thought कि अरे look at the fights and the कितने झगड़े हो रहे हैं यहाँ court में, and what if you feel like अरे this is the worst that can happen in a marriage, and what if, oh my god, that's something that can happen to me also in my relationship?
यार ये तो ऐसी बात हुई ना कि मेरी दोस्त को कैविटी हुई या रूट कनाल हुआ तो मैंने जाके अपने 32 दांत निकाल लिए. उसको हुई और कैविटी हुई तो भी उसको उसका इलाज है.
नहीं, possibility of cavity. अरे
Possi-
मुझे भी हो सकता है
हाँ कुछ भी
cavity.
हो सकता है यार, वो तो कोई मर गया तो मैं भी एक दिन तो मरने ही वाली हूँ.
हाँ.
What I'm trying to say is that you really need to build that wall. Okay, yes, I'm seeing an unfortunate side of life. The lesson to be learned from that is I learn to not repeat the behavior that will also lead my marriage to that or my relationships to that.
What are those behaviors that should not be done so it doesn't end up the same way? So you can guide other people in
I
relationships.
highly doubt if I'm the right person for that. But I think it was Einstein who said that men enter marriage thinking that the women will never change, and women enter marriage thinking that the man will change, and inevitably both are disappointed. So ये
Right.
हमेशा याद रखो. The idea in any relationship or marriage, मैं इसको change करूंगी या ये change होंगे. You can't change another person. What you can do is have unconditional positive regard for someone, accept them for who they are, acknowledge the flaws. I'm not saying किसी को worship करो, बिल्कुल भी नहीं. Acknowledge the flaws, know these are the flaws, love them nonetheless. Don't try to change. Improve, yes, but आप किसी को इतना ही बोल सकते हो. Beyond a point, you have to understand that person's right to choice and sense of agency. You can't and you shouldn't push beyond the point.
Hmm.
Love cannot be an excuse for control. That is what I think I always remember. And of course, the second thing to remember is always keep the communication channels open. Communication need not always be verbal, it can be something as simple as holding hands or just embracing each other. Let the other person know that you are very, very loved, you are very, very cherished, and you are important to me.
Hmm. What is something you wish people knew before they came to a divorce lawyer?
It's not instant, it's not an instant remedy. uh, we can make it slightly less painful. uh, we can try to make it quick, बट ये नहीं होगा कि आप आज आए और आपको कल डिवोर्स मिल जाएगा, और वो एक्सपेक्टेशन भी मत रखो, बिकॉज दैट मे नॉट इवन बी हेल्थी फॉर यू.
Hmm.
Everyone requires a certain time. Also, divorce is a tool given to you so that you can get out of a certain unfortunate marriage. उसके बाद healing आपको ही करना है. I see in my clients, I see some of them who heal phenomenally well because they have exited very gracefully and they've learned their lesson and chosen to move on. So they really use their trauma to build a wonderful life. There might be others who uh, just use the trauma to whine and to kind of go down the path of destruction.
And also play the victim, like this happened to me and it was so unfortunate, he did this, she did this to me,
Absolutely.
and that's why my life is
Basically,
like
they keep
this.
mulling over the same thing and keep asking, why me? And of course, that's a very natural question to have. But the point is, yes, once you are done asking that question and have found no answer, because you will find no answer, why not concentrate later on what now rather than why me?
Which is your answer to my next question, which is what should they know after getting a divorce?
You have a chance of a fresh start. Not a lot of people get that, right? You can really, really choose to leave the baggage behind as far as possible. And I know this is easier said than done, right? But leave the baggage behind. Go explore as much as possible and build a life you could not build because you were married and that came in your way. Now that is out of the way.
Tell me, do people regret getting a divorce?
Not that they come and tell me, or they would even admit to themselves, right?
But there must be
I do know a couple who got divorced and got remarried.
the same couple got remarried to each other.
Yes, and got divorced.
No way.
Yeah, but that's a very, very rare thing. See, what happened in that case is that after divorce and remarriage, I don't, possibly they didn't grow as people, right? When you don't acknowledge your mistakes or the lessons that are to be learned from the past, you tend to repeat those mistakes in the future because you have not grown. And I think when that happens, if you don't grow, you will repeat the same patterns and then the same problems.
Okay, Sherry, once upon a time you told me that, Alina, when people win in court, they think that they have won, they've got the upper hand, and no, उनकी जीत हो गई क्योंकि कोर्ट ने उनके फेवर में दिया. लेकिन लाइफ जब उसके बाद चालू होती है तब आपको पता चलता है कि वो एक्चुअली उनके लिए विन नहीं होता है. What does that mean?
So I always give this, why tell this to anyone who wants to pursue matrimonial law, that one thing that they have to keep in mind, apart from having tremendous patience, because you have to have that,
Hmm.
is that please put, when you come to family court, please put aside your traditional definition of victory and defeat. There is no winning or losing in a marriage or a divorce, right? कोर्ट एक जरिया होता है जो आपकी करंट सिचुएशन के आधार पे आपको एक डिसीजन देता है. लाइफ डज नॉट एंड देयर. Divorce is only one chapter of your life is over. Life is not over. There is something called karma, for those who believe. That is the highest court. And that court takes some time, but it 100% is a very, very effective court, right? So just because you feel that a certain decision has not come in your favor in the current moment, and yeah, वो मेरी सामने की साइड जीत गई. In life, give some time. What we may perceive के ये तो उसकी favor में था. Who knows?
Hmm.
In time, it may not be a favorable thing at all. Just because someone gets what they want does not mean they got what was right for them.
Hmm.
And that is what I want
So tell
everyone
me
to
about the
remember.
particular case where you have seen के in court उन्हें लगा कि वो जीत गए हैं but life में बाद में different
So, without
हो गया.
assigning again genders to this, I know this one parent who wanted to really fought tooth and nail to get the child. Okay, the child they were the only custodian of the child, so sole custody they wanted. They got हो सका उतना access नहीं दिया सामने वाले को against lawyers' advice कि भाई lawyers told them कि ऐसा मत करो, don't do that. But नहीं, जिस बच्चे के लिए इतना झगड़ा किया, इतना मतलब tried every trick in the book. What they didn't realize is that the child grew up seeing that parent as the sole disciplinarian. Because they were the only parent, obviously you have to be a disciplinarian. This happens a lot of times. You become the sole disciplinarian. So the child does not grow up necessarily liking that. On the contrary, they rebel so much more. आज वो बच्चा, now the child is a major, बात नहीं करता है वो parent के साथ. Refuses to even have a relationship with that parent. So that time बहुत खुशी हुई, right? Where did it lead you? Was there really so-called victory in the end?
So you think if the other parent was also involved, it could have been different?
Slightly different. You would not have had to be the sole disciplinarian, and the other parent wouldn't have become the sole fun parent.
Hmm.
When I'm getting my child, maybe for just 2 days, मैं तो मजा ही करवाऊंगी ना.
Hmm.
एंड बच्चा तो यही देखेगा, अरे वाह इनके साथ
Hmm.
तो फॉर एग्जाम्पल मॉल जाने मिलता है, या
हाँ.
आई एम गेटिंग टू डू द फन थिंग्स, ये गिफ्ट ला के दी, अरे केक तो खिला दी मैंने मांगी तो. But the parent who is the primary custodian also has to be, can't always be maza. On the contrary, there is no maza.
Hmm.
Because you are taking care of the day to day. So the sacrifice that you are making may not necessarily be seen. I'm not saying don't make the sacrifice. I'm just simply saying don't. आपको जो आपने मुझे पूछा कि तभी वो बहुत, I remember being that person being so happy कि मिल गया. आज 6 साल के बाद देखो कहाँ आए आप. And the child blames this particular parent कि आपकी वजह से I didn't get to build
meet my parent.
the other parent. Now,
and that I've seen a lot of people like regret it later because their children have grown up and been like, how could you do
how
this to
could you
me?
do this to me?
वो बोलेंगे ना 5-10 साल के बाद वो बच्चा आपको पूछेगा ना सवाल कि आपने ऐसा क्यों किया.
And see, somewhere you also have to understand the limitation of our own judgment. When you are too close to the puzzle, you can't see the picture that is being formed. So what you ask me, victory and defeat, when you are getting divorced, you are too close to the puzzle. Let life
show you
allow
the
you
full
to
picture.
come a little farther and show you the entire picture that will be formed. Thoda time de do yaar.
Okay. You were saying that when you have a restart, don't look at it as just the end of a chapter.
Yeah, divorce is end of one chapter of life. It is not the end of life. On the contrary, it's a fresh start at life. So, grab onto it, man.
Have you ever handled divorce cases of your own friends and family and people you know? Isn't that so difficult?
It is difficult, but that is when you really have to rise to the occasion.
But don't your emotions come in the way of taking a rational decision for the person?
So, on the contrary, I make even more of an effort to allow my emotions and experience to guide them in what I truly believe might be beneficial for them. And I have more power in a way to kind of tell them that what you are thinking is not necessarily right or healthy. And because they know me and they trust me, they listen.
So it works in your favor.
I hope it does.
You will tell me the result of the cases, I guess.
Of course, it's painful, but you just have to find a way to make the best of the situation and be neutral. Especially if I'm doing a mutual consent divorce for a party where both of them are my friends. I just use that opportunity to keep reminding them that divorce does not have to mean defamation. Draw the line.
Got it.
Be graceful, be civil, part as friends.
I think, Shari, from what I've seen and why I chose to even have you on the show is because I've met a lot of people who are doing civil, who are doing like a lot of cases in the criminal section, and I find them very interesting. So I sit with them and I'll ask them 100
Right.
questions because I do this not because it's just a podcast. This I do because I anyways love talking to people and lawyers. The amount of things that they see are very interesting for me to learn from. So I'll sit with the lawyers and I'll ask them 1,000 questions about like what they are doing. I find lawyers to be very transactional. I could be making a blanket statement, but most of them are like calm say calm. And I don't know if you've heard this, but like the statement around lawyers outside of the law field is that उनके साथ डील करना ना मतलब you have to know they are very कट्टर, they are very like proper, they are very like emotionless और
Hmm.
वो तो आपको ऐसा ही बताएंगे कि आप पूरा आपके बेनिफिट में ऐसा हो और
Hmm.
उनके
Hmm.
बेनिफिट
Hmm.
और फेवर में ऐसा हो कि ये जो अपर हैंड जो आप बोल रहे हो
Right.
कारमा
Right.
और लाइफ के भाई वो इमोशंस और वो भी सब प्ले में आता है. आई हैव नॉट सीन दैट इन लॉयर्स इन जनरल एंड आई हैव स्पोकन टू अ लॉट ऑफ देम. So that is why I think that your work stands out. Like
Hmm.
I really like you as
Thank
a
you.
person because the work that you do, there is of course you know everything about law, you know what you're doing. आपको पता है कि किसको कैसे manage करना है, which is so difficult to do, and then you're doing your job. Like you're
Thank
keeping
you.
all that aspect inside of like understanding that this is how to deal with it.
I'm sure, as is true of every other profession, every lawyers maybe, a law profession maybe, there are people who are very, very transactional, and people who can also see the humane side of law. My attempt always is to keep that human aspect in law alive, which is why I'm doing matrimonial law,
Hmm.
because it allows me the space to do so.
Hmm.
So I think it's just that you need to, if you're lucky enough, you will find a person
Hmm.
who will be not just a lawyer, but also someone you can share your journey with, because divorce typically is a journey,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So, and who will help you come out better, not bitter, who will guide you and even tell you stuff that you don't want to hear.
Hmm.
And in matrimonial law especially, who will be able to understand what you are not saying, what you are letting remain unsaid.
For example, Shelly, if you know that somebody is physically abusive to their partner and they come to you in a divorce case, what would you do? That represent me.
I would never condone physical assault, regardless of, and there are enough cases of wife beating up the husbands, and it's not just always from the husband side to the wife. Having said that, I understand that rather than making a blanket judgment, sometimes I also need to understand how the event transpired, right? You'll be surprised so many times what we, especially if you hear that a man physically assaulted the
Oh.
wife, you always think of it as an attack. So many times when I talk to them more, I realize it was an act of defense. They were hit first, or they were put in a situation where they had to defend themselves. I am not condoning, and I will never condone a physical attack or even a verbal attack, any attack. What I'm trying to say is that whether you are a lawyer or whether you are a person, it is important to delve a little deeper in a situation rather than always taking it simply at a face value. And I think that is the bare minimum that any professional can do and should do.
And when you deep dive and you figure out that this person is
If
in the wrong.
I think the minute I know that, and because in matrimonial law you work so closely to a person, if I know that that person's belief system and principles are something I am principally against, they can be different from what I believe, and that's absolutely fine. But if they are something that I find absolutely abhorrent, I don't think it makes sense to continue with that person, right? Because our principles, our belief system just don't align.
What is like a belief system like you won't go against your own or your principle?
If there is an uncalled for attack constantly, and a person is not repentant for his behavior, his or her behavior, I don't think I can continue to I can personally ever align with a person like that. There are there are people who act badly, but they understand their mistake, acknowledge their mistake, accept their mistake, are willing to bring about a change, or at least make an effort to bring about a change, right? And then there are people who are not, know that they are abusing, are not repentant of the fact that they are abusing, and have, in fact, take a lot of glee in the fact that uh, they are, they have the power to abuse. I don't think I would ever be comfortable with people like that.
I'm glad that as a lawyer you have these value systems in place, because like I said, lawyers would take up any case that brings in whether it's position, power, a good case, a high profile case, or the finances attached to it.
Obviously, to each their own. But I mean, I know that I have to sleep with my conscience at
Yeah.
night, and it's
Yeah.
important for me to get a good night's sleep.
Especially after what you do.
Yes, please. That's the least I deserve now. So, yeah, if something is not going to allow me to look at myself in the mirror at night, I don't think it's worth it.
Shelly, if like there are 2-3 things that you could tell somebody who's gotten divorced to rebuild their life, what should they do? What you've seen best that people do that can revive themselves?
In general, I would always encourage someone to read a lot, or if you're not a fan of reading, watch a lot of informative videos. And if finances allow, please travel a lot, because when you read or travel, you are exposed to ideas and belief system which are different than yours. If you don't expose yourself to different ideas, then your own ideas become stagnant. And that is the worst thing that can happen to a person, is to become stagnant.
And I feel like after divorce, so many people just must feel like stuck, and they must feel like,
Yes,
how do you
yes.
even restart life,
Restart life.
entire life again that you never
Abs-
thought would happen?
Absolutely, absolutely. What better way to go about it than get fresh perspectives, whether be it from a book or from people, meet more people. I'll always, once you feel ready, meet more people, whether it be through travel or through socializing. And very important thing, don't project your past trauma on your future relationship.
That happens to everyone. Like
know, I
that
know.
fear is so deep rooted
It
that
is.
what happened before is going to happen to me again. God
But
forbid.
God forbid,
Yeah.
absolutely. So it's easier said than done, but don't project past trauma on future relationship. And just always remember that you took a divorce because you wanted to come out better, not bitter.
True. You know, people again from the outside, it looks like a divorce lawyer and you're helping with all these cases that are so complicated. But I look at it as you're helping people solve their problems.
Alina, the biggest thing misconception is divorce, and I've said this
Huh.
before, that divorce lawyers are earthquakes, right? And I keep telling them, I'm not the earthquake. Divorce lawyers are not earthquake. We are the rescue team. The earthquake has taken place. I'm trying to, in fact, rescue you from the debris of the earthquake of your marriage.
True. That's exactly what I mean. That people
I'm not the
don't
reason,
see
I'm the
it.
rescue.
Yeah.
By me, I mean divorce lawyers.
Yeah, that's again because some divorce lawyers will just aggravate the situation. कि अरे do this, you do this case, आप ये बोलो, आप ये करो, and all. That's not right. But the genuine divorce lawyers like yourself will come and help the situation and help the person get out of that.
Get out as unharmed as
Yeah.
you can.
Yes.
I can't undo the earthquake. That is for you guys to do. But yes, I can at least kind of see to it that you don't come out more damaged than when you are already in.
True.
Because then it's not worth it.
I hope you become India's top divorce lawyer.
Oh my God, thank you so much. That is so sweet.
Okay. And thank you so much for being on the
Thank
show. I've
you
had
for
a
having me
really
on the
good
show.
time. Lots
The
of
pleasure was
insight,
mine.
lots of new learnings about this space. And my audience is new to this. Like they haven't
I
heard this
understand.
topic. So I am sure this is going to help a lot of people.
Thank you so much for having me on
I
this
hope
show.
you had a good time.
I had a wonderful time chatting with you.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave them below and I will find a way to reach to Shelly. For all of you who are looking for help, can reach out to me and I will connect you to her. If you have any more questions, you put them down in the comments. I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe.